We would like to thank our sponsor, Island Savings. Island Savings, a division of member-owned cooperative First West Credit Union, provides banking, borrowing, and investment services for residents and businesses across Vancouver Island and the Southern Gulf Islands. Island Savings brings innovative products, an extensive branch network, and local decision-making to the banking experience.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Business Matters presented by Island Savings, a division of First West Credit Union, where we delve into the stories and insights of leaders and change makers in our community. As always, I'm your host, Rob Capello, and today we're joined by Derek Orr, owner and director of Vibe. I love that title. Iron and Wood Golf Simulators. Derek, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, it's a true pleasure, Rob. Thank you for taking the time.
I have to say that's one of the best titles I've ever heard. I'm so jealous. I'm going to steal it, maybe.
Yeah, and you know what? Well, you would be secondhand stealing it because I did the exact same thing. And you know what? It was like a lightning rod when I saw that on someone's business card. Just looked, like, yep, that's mine. It's awesome.
Love it. So, Derek, you have extensive background in golf. 25 years spanning cross continents, and I think I'm excited to kind of explore your journey. But I'm curious if we start sort of like when you're a wee little lad. Like, was there always a passion for golf? Like, where did that start? Like, where did golf? Was it in the family? Like, where did that start for you?
I tell you, Rob, what like that extra layer of question you threw on there, going back that far. Puts a heck of a lot of context on, the journey to this point, in that I was 6 years old going to the local driving range, and I'm an only child. And so what golf evolved to for me was, as an only child, my parents after school could drop me off, right?
Love it, yeah.
And pick me up at dark. And thankfully I loved it, right? And I am the kid that played more hockey, street hockey, and so hockey and golf, summer, winter, and that was the origin story for golf. And I tell you, and I will tell this till I'm 80, if I was physically built different, I still would be trying to play hockey. That sport, I just happened to get really, really good at golf and turn it into a career. So that's the start and the background of the start of that.
I'm curious, you mentioned hockey. So, when you play hockey, you idolize people like Wayne Gretzky, Sidney Crosby, maybe from Connor McDavid, whoever it is. And I'm curious in the world of golf. So as you're a kid growing up, you're playing golf, you got into it. I mean, you got good at it. Who influenced it? Who were the influencers? Like, who did you look up in from the golf side? I wasn't a massive, I play golf recreational. I was a Phil Mickelson fan because I'm a lefty. He was a lefty. I'm curious, who did you look up to in the golf world?
So another really, really good question, in that I didn't idolize. I mean, Fred Couples, I remember in 1992 when he won the Masters, there's a moment where he hits a ball on the 12th hole of Sunday, doesn't go in the water. It stays up on the hill. And if you know Augusta, that happens once in 100,000 times. And he does that. And he hits the shot, he hits it up next, almost goes in, he makes par. After that happens, this is Sunday at the Masters, he looks back, sees a ball, scoops it up, looks at it to see whose it is, what it is, like we would do.
Yeah. And
then he goes, nope, don't need it, threw it back in the water. Do you know the presence of mind and just calm under, like, who does that? It's the Masters. He wasn't, okay, laser. He was just, look, a ball, ding, 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 looks at it. So
interesting.
So I remember that moment because I was like, oh my goodness, like, how cool is that guy? Okay, cool. But I grew up idolizing, as a lot of junior golfers did when they're 10, 11, 12 years old, the club pro, the pro at our facility. And so that like just being the pro shop rat that most pros dislike because you're just in the shop. Oh, what did you do?
Yeah.
But that golf pro, like this level of platform that I wanted to be a golf professional, not to be great at golf, but to just be that presence at a golf facility. There was no one higher in the golf world in my mind at that time than the club pro. I wanted my name on a bag so bad, to the point where my mom, I remember we had no money growing up. So she got a piece of cloth, embroidered my name on it. And we'd be like sticky taped it to one of my golf bags so I could have that experience.
Really
So yeah. So to answer your question, that's probably what drove me down the club pro path, is just the idea of a club pro at a facility. Just they were my idols, right? I always just wanted to be them and hang around them and be part of
Yeah.
the cool club. So that's the
Interesting.
passion for it.
So you spent your life 6-year-old, you started golfing. You must put a lot of rounds out there, traveled. I saw you were all, you literally traveled the continent working in playing golf. And so what led you to Iron and Wood Golf Center? Where did that idea, where did that spark come from? What were you doing? You're like, I'm going to start a golf simulation company. Like, where did that come from?
Yeah, good question. And those that know me know that if you really let me go off leash, I would tell you a 75-minute story. But for the sake of interest, it's a two-part answer. The quick first half is I had a really good mentor early on that told me, listen, if you want to do well in this industry, go to where the sunshine is while you're young, while you don't have family and kids. And that's,
yeah.
But he said it in a way that really sparked my interest. And I went from Jasper, I moved to Florida, to Mexico, and chased the sun and the jobs. Yeah. But I always made sure that it was a different job, right? So if I was in Mexico, I was a coordinator for events, or I was in Jasper, I was a director of instruction for a time. So it was a way to kind of build up to what I wanted to do, is do something on my own at some point. And the best way to do that is to educate yourself through work. Yeah. And so fast forward to, I was working at Shaughnessy at the time, and we were having a staff party at a facility in Vancouver called One Under. And it's downstairs, and it's got Sims down the side. It's pub bar, kind of like Irish Times in Victoria here. And then this VIP room in the back. And I'm looking, I'm like, God, like everybody wants in there. Why wouldn't you just do a business around VIP, like just private base? And then from there, I started to draw ideas on a napkin. And that kind of led into working on it. Now, the asterisk to all of that is some people as a hobby like to play the piano. Some people like to juggle. Some people draw. For whatever reason, I nerd out on business plans. And so in a drawer right over there, I can show you probably 12 ready to go business plans on anything.
Gosh.
A new golf course, a product, this. And I don't mean like, I drew a couple of sheets. I'll do business plans. And so I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. I just really, really liked it. So the entrepreneurial side of things, but I wouldn't call it a word. I just call it my hobby.
Yeah.
And then so you pair that, I just started doing a business plan. And I recently had a chat with someone about getting to know. Everybody's trying to get their business to yes.
Yeah.
His point was getting it to no, where you're trying to vet it so hard. If I can find the no, okay, I've done my work, and then it must not be a good idea. But if I can get to a no that is reasonable or overcomeable, whatever that word is, I can overcome it.
Yeah.
That's when you know the go or no go. And so that's where Iron and Wood got to the point of, okay, and then finding a space, and the rest is history, so to speak. Yeah.
So for people that haven't visited, what's the concept behind the business? If I'm first time coming in, what can I expect? Like what when I come into your business?
Yeah, and I believe, and I worked for Fairmont Hotels for 7 years, and there's a lot of culture and standards, and it's the people, and you're not trying to have a great customer, you're trying to have a customer that wants to come back and support the personalities, the authenticity. And I knew if Iron and Wood, if I could do it in a setting that was truly authentic to the idea of let this be your home away from home. Now, it's a very, very easy thing to say. It's a very difficult thing to do over and over and over. Because one of the things, I worked at some very high-end private clubs, and affluence aside, one of the cool things about a private club is that is your home. Like there's no sign that says, hey, pro shop this way. You don't need a sign in your house that says, hey, the kitchen is this is the kitchen. This is, it's your home. And so the culture of Iron and Wood is, yes, it's indoor golf. Yes, we can do hockey and baseball and zombie dodgeball and all these things. But the personality and I strongly push back on the idea that this is just lip service,
Yeah.
but this is inclusive in all the ways of skill and demographic, and just come, be here, enjoy. Golf is a very, 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 very intimidating sport, whether you're male, female, new, old, experience, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Everybody's nervous on the first tee, and everybody thinks you're watching them. And so the idea of a private bay scenario married up with a sense of comfort and belonging, I am banking on and will always bank on that being exceptionally unique, and in a community like Victoria that is a very, very big small town.
Yeah.
That's where we really hang our hat, and something I'm just going to keep pushing. And the idea, like, you walk down one of our hallways, I've got memorabilia and things, and it's not from, I mean, there's some famous signatures and famous, hey Derek, but there's also people that I know that went and did something so absurd. I'm like, hey, you know what, take a picture of that or like dodgeball league, they won the div 3.
Yeah.
So I got the team to sign it and put it up. It's just
love it.
It's for everybody, right?
Specifically on the golf side, I was thinking as I was preparing for this, like you mentioned, like you worked in some really, high-end golf courses, and you've traveled and you've seen it. Is there I don't try to think of the word, like, stigma? Is there like, I'm not doing golf simulation, like that's not, I want to do real, like, is there any of that from people, or is it more is simulation more for the everyday golfer, not the, like, you saw both sides. You've traveled, I assume you're a good golfer. Do you feel that way? Do you feel like I'm not doing, I'm not going to do simulation?
Yeah, and so very fair. And I mean, the idea of an indoor golf simulator has been around for, let's call it
100%.
Yeah, let's call it 20 years.
Sure.
Now,
sure.
It's always funny. Oh, today's technology is the best technology that exists, and forever this is going to be the pinnacle. It's like, well, obviously that's not true. But I do think there is a threshold of novelty and authentic. And the simulators we use are the same ones that Tiger Woods, Jordan Spieth, PGA Tour, the Golf Channel. Like, this is, to steal a car analogy, I mean, what's better, Lamborghini or Ferrari? Well, okay, there's no clear winner necessarily, but they are both offering something good. And so the sims we're using will help tick that box. So of accuracy and worthwhile coming into whether it's play or practice. But the flip side of that is it is so immersive now, with it being so accurate. Like, I train, I come in here, I pray, I'm getting all my numbers.
Got it.
But the golfing side of it, to go play Pebble Beach, which is, the PGA Pro-Am, Pebble Beach at Pro-Am is on right now, and you could play along with the pros. It is so close now that it's valuable for golf pros, people that play and practice all the time. The stigma of like, it's kind of close, I can flip that in one swing, right? So the challenge is, come on in and check it out. And I will lean into that, being like, listen, I'm not here to try and convince you one way or another, but I promise you get one swing. Here we go. Right. And it's golf, right? So not only is it addicting, we offer, because you can get so much data. It's one of the few sports as adults and amateurs that we can, like, if you picked up hockey tomorrow, you can't go just practice on your own, really. Unless you're going to, like, set up a thing in your garage.
Sure.
But golf, you can go chip and putt and hit the driving range, and through these sims, you can see your ball spin and path and club face and launch. So you can, as nerdy as you want to be about it,
right,
it will support that. So a very long answer to your question, but to say it's incredibly versatile to however you want the experience to be, right?
And has there been a lot of innovation the last few years when it comes to sims? Is there, like, AI is the buzzword we hear everywhere, and the technology? Have you seen any of that seep into sims, or do you kind of like, no, like, if you look 5 years ago and today, the technology is pretty much the same?
So I'm very thankful that you asked that question, because I think, if you remember, think of when Blu-rays first came out, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, this is okay. We've hit the end. This is, and what was right about that was that was the last physical
Right.
representation of a movie. I think we're very, very close to that with what this is. It doesn't become obsolete. That's not where I'm going with it. But what I am saying is there is a limit. Like,
Sure.
where was accuracy and immersiveness is how far we can take this. You know, maybe the graphics get better, maybe this, maybe, but the detection is very, 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 very close.
Right.
So we're at the end of that road.
Right.
I do think we are very close to a new type of experience. And I do think it is very, very, very close to augmented reality and AI and wearable. It's going to sound weird, but just where these wearable things are now a little, it's just a hair too early.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, you're going to be able, I promise you, and you look at and look at a place like Vancouver, Victoria, Toronto, Chicago, New York, what do they have very, very little of? Land. And so, or affordable land, better way to put it. Now, if you could hit a ball into a screen, but have it feel like you're there without giving up novelty or like, I can't really see. And now you've got driving ranges with augmented realities that in your vision can show you your data and overlay a lesson or a tip based on your swing. Like, I think it's augmented reality. I think that's it. I think the technology hasn't caught up with it yet. It's gonna.
That's crazy.
Right? That's my perception, anyways.
That'd be crazy. You'll be able to golf at international course in your own home one day, or garage or whatever. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, you could take it with you. You could take you in a hotel
anywhere
room.
You want. True. And off you go. Yeah. That's interesting. Interesting. I'm curious about your experience. Like, you've worked in, high-end golf courses, hospitality, travel. How does that experience, like you touched on a little bit, what of that have you brought into Iron and Wood? Like, as you run your business, it sounds like, where have you learned? What have you gleaned from there that you're like, I've brought it into this now?
So I do know, having worked at municipal golf courses all the way up to top 5 golf courses, top 2 golf courses in the country.
Right.
That essentially the people that work at these facilities, for the most part, are all the same. Right. We are. They're just packaged differently. There are very, very good golf professionals at a municipal down the street from you, and there are very, very good professionals at a high-end resort and a high-end private club.
Right.
So it's all packaged the same. The facility is different. So what I will say is that working at resorts and experience-driven facilities, it's the standards and it's the details. And if you were to do a pod with one of my staff and you ask them, what is Derek most adamant about, or where does his focus lie? It is in the authentic details. And I remember Fairmont comes to mind on a number of them. You should never hear, and this is a little inside into Fairmont, you should never hear a Fairmont employee say no problem, right? They will always say, for the most part, my pleasure. It's a standard. It's just how it's done. You're not to imply that, what is a problem and how and this. It's just that's how they do it. It is, hey, thank you, and it's my pleasure. We fold triangles in our toilet paper, right? Every hour. Now, is that a need? Is that something nobody's doing that? But it's a detail that we do, and we achieve it. And it's. I always thought, and this is Fairmont, this is Predator Ridge, Shaughnessy. There's Victoria Golf Club. There's these standards that you hit, and what your goal is always to do is to let people make assumptions, right? I see something, I think this. So you use that to your advantage. I see triangles on the toilet paper every single time on a Saturday night when I know the washrooms are heavily used. Man, they got it together. I am going to assume that blankets everything internally, externally, so the standards and the details, I will go on that soapbox as loud as people will. they don't have to be big. They just have to be consistent and they have to be done. You don't, Fairmont, you don't point the direction, you lead the person to the end
Interesting.
destination. So, hey, where's the washroom? Here, come with me. I'll show you. That is
Yeah.
a standard at Iron and Wood as well, too. So those experience standards is easily number one for me.
So how about outside of business life for you? Like, so how are these things, golf, how has it impacted outside of your professional career? Like, are there like lessons you've learned or anything? So, because we've been talking about the things you do in day to day in your business, but what about when you leave, you close the door and you go home at night? Like, how has golf impacted your life that way?
Yeah, what a good question. I mean, consider a couple things. We opened Iron and Wood. I opened Iron and Wood May 30th, 2020. We were meant to open April 1st, 2020.
Okay.
I got the keys to this facility and I was tearing it down and building framing in January. And you think of the tidal wave that was coming. And so I say all that to say my daughter at that time was 6 weeks old. So my daughter is the exact same age as Iron and Wood. So I have two kids.
Yeah.
Right. So my outside work life is not letting the family moment slip away and making sure to prioritize those just as much as a successful business. But it also does call attention to, if you start a business, you're an entrepreneur, the phone doesn't shut off as soon as you leave. That's part of it. You sign up for that. But then finding ways to be a good husband, a good father, a good business owner. It takes a lot of work and a lot of mistakes and navigation, right? So it is outside of golf. It has really made me think and work on being just a good human that doesn't split up their time too much, because that's another challenge I have. Is I love the industry, I love people, and I want to partner, and I want to do it all, and then I say yes and I say yes and I say yes, and that's okay. It's not for bad things, and so it's just really being mindful about the downtime, the personal time, and so and it's anybody that has kids, it goes fast, and so just being mindful. And one of our taglines, the tagline of Iron and Wood is to savor playtime. And so I came up with that because that's what I wanted people to do. We have finite time, and we are busier and busier and busier. The better we're at being on or off our phones, the more important it is to, man, I got 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, really, really savor it. Like, enjoy it. Come to Iron and Wood or this. But the tangent for me is savor dinner time, savor the commute home. Just really be mindful about that and enjoy it, right?
That's great advice. That's amazing, because you can always look at the negative. Hey, I'm stuck in the car driving home, and I'm like, hey, I can listen to a podcast. This is great. Really take advantage. I think that's really good advice. I love it. So what about say that young person, I'm listening to this podcast right now or watching this video, and I'm like, wow, I'd love to get into the golf career. Like, this is really cool. What's some advice you would give them other than don't do it? What's some advice you would give someone that's like, yeah, like I want to make, because you made a career of it, which is amazing. I love it. Like that's what I love. Like, you actually took a passion and you made a career of it. So what if I'm listening, I'm like, I want to do it. I'm a young person. I want to do. What's some advice you would give them?
I will say this: golf industry is not for everyone, but it is for everyone that is like anything. Quite honestly, forget golf. Just if you're passionate about it and you enjoy it, it's a vehicle, right? Because then it doesn't feel like work. I will say that the golf industry as a golf professional is very challenging, and it is. As a job, managing a pro shop, it's not the most lucrative career in the world. That's why a lot of pros teach as much as they can, because now they need to supplement their income, and that's a whole another challenge with the industry. But I will say this, and something it took me a long time to understand, to the point where I almost quit the industry completely, was that golf industry typically has a path where you start in the back shop, you work in the pro shop, you become a golf professional, you become a general manager, a head professional, whatever. It's And I struggled with that because I didn't want that end. That wasn't for me. And so what got me towards the latter half of my career and helped me ascend in and skill of what I could provide is I focused on an area, retail, pro shops. I loved the business side. So I've carved out my little niche. My advice is whatever you are passionate about in the industry of golf, specialize in it, focus in on it. You can like go work, if you want to go have an awesome summer and you're young, go work back shop at a golf course, show up on time, be early, be the like go-to guy. That's going to give you a long leash to do some cool things and go play golf and enjoy and be a part of the club. I couldn't afford golf memberships. That's why I had to work at them. So I would work back shop. I would do all these things, but the industry of golf is so big, but it is so I'm looking for a better word than small, but just it is so connected.
Right.
If you want to be in the golf industry, start anywhere. Work on the grounds crew, do whatever, but just enjoy it. And if you want to turn it into a career, specialize. Figure out what you like most and be the best at that. You don't have to teach. I teach. I'm a good teacher. It's not my passion. And so it wouldn't fill my cup, so to speak, to make a career out of that. So iron and wood became my outcome because I love the social side and having a couple beers and seeing so and so. And so that's where I turned my environment, my business into something I was really excited about. The thing to consider with golf, with technology, it is now more global than ever, and it will continue to do so. You want to teach golf and become a golf professional, you have the world through YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, anything you want. So get into it. It's awesome. It's given me everything. I joke all the time that I live outside my means every single day because of the industry and creating good relationships. But if you bust your butt and find your niche, it's gonna pay back tenfold, right?
So say that today you had the chance to golf any course. Let's say BC. Well, I don't know. I'll say BC, but you can pick the whatever you think. And you got one course to golf. Where are you going?
Victoria Golf Club. Yeah, I mean that's it's special if you have or have not played there. There's very high-end, nice, beautiful golf courses, and then there's special golf courses. Victoria is special. And there's a spot on the golf course. You go from 4 green to 5 tee. And it is the most, like, your eyes just get wider, and it's not because it's like this vista, and it is, but there's something so just special. And so Vic would be that for me. If I get one more round of golf in Canada, it would be Jasper Park Lodge. Same reason. Those are probably the 2 on my list that are just special. You go there and you feel like you're experiencing. It's hard to put a finger on it, and again, it's not because they're nice or this or it is that deep breath on a spring morning, right? It's something else. Those are the two, but they don't have to be expensive golf courses for that to be for you, right? Like,
agreed. Yeah.
I will also give a shout out to Ardmore Golf Course that I live near, and I will tell you right now, one of my favorite things to do is go there after work and put some tunes in my bag and go play 5 holes. And that is just, that's my, like, again, that's my warm blanket on a cold day. So you just find out what those are. But yeah, Vic and JPL.
That's great. Thanks, Aaron. And last question is where's the vision? Where are you taking Ironwood? Like, where do you want to go? Is there in the drawer of business plans? What's the next evolution? You happy where you're at? Do you see yourself with more locations? Where's the vision for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it's gonna, I can promise anyone that's listening and they've lasted till this part of the pod, you always got to say, hey, at the end, we've got the best tip ever. But I will say, I do. So, okay, no one's heard this. I want to take, so summer is a slow time for indoor golf.
Right.
I am now currently building a mobile golf simulator experience where we can take it to you at a level that will It's good. It's
Yeah.
not bouncy castle. It is inflated. It is big. It is dialed in activations at mezzanines at the hockey, like in the summer. Cool.
Great. Love it.
So that is coming down the pipeline, which I'm very excited about. I've never been I hate when I would be in a job interview. Hey, what's your 5-year plan?
Yeah.
I don't, I'm ready to go because I got the
Yeah.
drawer full of business plans. I do think, that the mobile one is a big one for us next.
I love it.
I think where Iron and Wood has found a niche is its intimacy, right? If we had 19 bays here, I don't think it would feel the same. The idea of bringing smaller offerings to more smaller parts of neighborhoods is on the vision plan, but never looking too far ahead to keep pushing the needle through Iron and Wood. We have a pretty strong online presence. If you don't follow us on Instagram, buckle up and give it a follow. There's some stuff on there that we're really proud of. So, you know what, being great, focusing on community, and who knows where the path goes.
Amazing. Well, Derek, thank you so much for joining me. I've really enjoyed our discussion. I think there's really good lessons that people can get out of it, but just I love the fact that you follow the passion, like you said, whatever it may be, and you're able to, make a life and career out of it. So that's great. So thanks for joining me and having a discussion for the last half hour. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Robin. Thank you for doing what you do and shining the light on businesses like mine and other people in the community. So thank you to you, and I appreciate you taking the time and asking really great questions.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Derek. And like Derek said, if you enjoyed this episode, we encourage you to share it, because that's the goal of this, is to get the word out as much as we can. So please share it with your friends and colleagues. And until next time, thank you for tuning into Business Matters, and have a great day. Thanks, Derek. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Take care. Bye.
We would like to thank our sponsor, Island Savings. Island Savings, a division of member-owned cooperative First West Credit Union, provides banking, borrowing, and investment services for residents and businesses across Vancouver Island and the Southern Gulf Islands. Island Savings brings innovative products, an extensive branch network, and local decision-making to the banking experience.